So I studied German and maths at university, and I never really knew where I was going to head in terms of my job, and sport was always something that just I did as a hobby. And when I came out of uni, didn't know what to do with myself, and just the opportunity arose to do an internship with MMC. It came up on the university boards online, and it just jumped out at me the chance to combine the two things which I really enjoyed doing, which is languages and then sport, specifically football. And it was just a 6-month internship at the time, and I just went for it. Moved out to Munich, start a new life essentially almost, and then just crack on. It was quite a different thing than when I originally anticipated, maybe because it was a very small company when I started, and it's grown a lot since then, and it was a small clientele that I was working with, and I had a lot of free time, and getting to do the daily activities, comparing it to it now and what I did back then is significantly different. And it's an interesting environment because it's quite a relaxed environment. It's not your usual office job, I would say. It's interesting because there are a lot of international people there, lots of different languages, so you really get a mixture of people, of colleagues, and the work is very fun as well. So when you're working in sport and it's something that you have a passion for, then you get to do that every day. And the things I do, I'm UK country manager, which means being in charge of the English team, and making sure everyone's doing the daily activities that we need doing, and staying on top of activities. But I also am quite involved in the editorial side myself, so I do voiceover services, I do social media, I do translations when I get the chance, but organising, speaking with the directors, making sure we're heading in the right direction. So it's a quite vast array of activities. Keeps you busy. Well, the technology in sport is changing all the time, and it's quite hard to keep on top of all the things that come your way, and maybe 6 months down the line there's going to be something totally new that we have to deal with. And it's making sure you know how to use those things inside out, and just developing expertise and reading about things to make sure that you're aware the best way to use something, and not necessarily just using something for the sake of it. If there's a new technology there, you don't just want to just grab it and use it just so that you've got it. It's about making sure you do the right thing with it and try and reach the right audience, and not just throwing something out into the market just for the sake of having it. It's making sure you get it right, because it's a lot of the work is about engagement and reaching fans. When you're working in sport, it's all about the fans, and you've got to get to them in the right way. We focus a lot on football and obviously sport, and you really have to have a passion for it if you work at MMC, because your daily activities, you spend your time working on it, and then when you talk with your colleagues just socially, it's the same. It carries on as well, so you really have to know your stuff and really be into it. But you also got to be flexible. I think when you work within the sports world, you find most of it happens on a weekend, and you've got to be prepared to sacrifice your weekend for something you really enjoy. So it's got to be your passion, definitely. I would say the thing I did is really taking a leap of faith and going for something that you're not really sure about. So I moved abroad to Germany, never thought I'd leave the UK, and I just threw myself out there, immersed myself in a new culture and a new environment, which could be the same for any job, not particularly moving abroad or anything like that. It's just something you're unsure about, or having second thoughts about, is really just going for it and seizing the opportunity, because it might not come around again. I think what I was touching on before is staying in the loop with all the latest things that are coming out in the sports industry, with the media side of things, and knowing what's happening so that you can tell others the best way to do things. It's difficult to manage so many things, like the office environment we have. There's so many clients that we work with, and trying to juggle those things at the same time is quite difficult. So you really need to keep a cool head sometimes, and try and focus as much as possible, is to make sure you just get through the day and not miss anything out that's really important. And but the technology side of things is probably the most vital, is knowing the right things to do with your clients, that their expectations are met as well. Well, one of the sides of my job that I really enjoy doing is commentary, and I would be maybe Bundesliga specific and talk about someone like Phil Bonney, who is one of the main commentators for Bundesliga, or just go for the big cheese and say Martin Tyler, the Sky Sports commentator. I would love to work in commentary specifically, and it's when you work in the sports industry, you really get a different insight of how things run and how it works. And now when I find myself listening to commentary before I started working in the sports industry, I would just soak it in as a fan. And now everything, I'm almost second guessing everything and really judging and analysing everything that gets said. And it really makes you think. And when you hear someone as good as Martin Tyler, it really makes you think about how you can improve yourself. And even someone like Phil Bonney, who's less known, it just makes you want to improve yourself each day with your own job, and it almost inspires you to try and be the best you can.